visual anchoring. So now we're going to go a little bit more myopic and just kind of look at some ways to frame your content visually to reinforce, to reinforce its message. Okay, so the reason I love this example is because, you first look at it and you go, wow, busy. At the same time, this person has done some interesting things that are absolutely right. There's a technique called mirroring and angling. So she's got lip sticking at the top there, and then she has this swoosh. And she may not know that she did this, but if you look to the right, then she's got it repeated kind of in a smaller way. So so somehow you can kind of land on the page. And here's an example where you've got two columns on the right. Now, if you try to put that left column on the left of her body text, it wouldn't work because of the gesture of that swoosh under lip sticking and the fact that our eye is kind of pulled to the right. So somehow she's been able to frame her content in a way where we can now look to the left, which, by the way, left to right readability is still, pretty much intuitively standard in terms of how we read. But I'm not distracted by all of what's happening on the right because somehow she's framed it. She's framed it visually for me.
Right.
But that I find it kind of interesting because normally I would have a reaction to a site like this, but I'm going, no, it works. So, okay, Love Life. By the way, you should buy her book. She's awesome. She really is. She's just got great energy. Now, here's an interesting use. Talk about visual anchoring. Here's an interesting use of negative space. So, her header, that's pretty much a static page, and then she swaps information, as you go through the page. She does e-commerce really well here. Maybe a little bit of an overuse of black, but because we're already anchored by the top, we can kind of forgive it. And, just the color bar at the top and the fact that she uses this, circle gives our eye a little bit of relief. The fact that kind of powder blue is repeated in the by, that's a nice kind of subtle, message. Mm-hmm. So I guess I just wanted to show this to say don't be afraid of using black. It's a recessive color. It allows us to, it's kind of like a calming, it can kind of be a recessive kind of calming given how much we're sort of pulled and, there's a lot of demand to read, and sometimes coming to a site like this, you get a little bit of visual relief, and the black can be, somewhat, of a relief as well.
Sure.
So I've been this was my first typepad site 4 years ago, and that's when I got really bonded to typepad, so to speak. Well, the reason I'm showing you this is about the circles. And so the circles in the top of the header here are repeated, and so there's a consistency. Like every time I post, I'll put these dots. And what that allows you to do, that repetition and the fact that it's a circle, it kind of offsets. It would be visually anchoring. It offsets the squares and the grid.
Sure.
That will allow you to kind of have a little bit more readability and just anything you can do. Like even sometimes you'll see photographs that have it angling in, so you want to create that foreground and that background. So angles work, a different shape will work. So just to be aware of shape offsets and to use them, where possible because the minute you do that, then you invite in more readability.
Sure.